Cars on the grid here at MotorLand Aragón for the third race of the season in the 3.5 litre Formula Renault Championship, looking down towards the tail end of the grid. Bajskevisa will be the last car onto the grid. 21 cars, still no Carlin entry, and 3 teams with a single car entry. Like everybody else, the championship's starting to feel the financial pinch just a little. With the yellow nose on the left of your screen, Carlos Sainz Jr. very early to his grid spot, pushed away from pole in Monza. 5 lights are on, and away we go, and he starts the race from pole position this time. Very quick start indeed from Nikolai Marchenko, the white and blue Comtech car, down the inside, but Sainz cuts his nose off. Roland in third, not for long. Up the inside has gone Zol Amberg. So Ollie Roland from second on the grid down to fourth. Tom Gaymore in the first corner, and is that it's Buller off?
Yeah, Will Buller off. Marchenko very, very quick away from the second row of the grid, and that looks like it's Amberg in third. It is. Yeah, Roland didn't really get the best getaway. I was surprised. Sainz managed to hold on from Marchenko. Marchenko thinking better of it. Carlos Sainz Jr. very brave into turn 1. He was struggling all the way from his grid spot to the braking zone, but braked very late. That lockup meant that he meant business, and now Marchenko putting him under pressure. Yeah, coming onto the straight, Sainz is going to have Marchenko tucked up under his rear wing. Ollie Roland lucky that Marlon Stockinger in the black car behind was attacked by Roberto Meri, so that has relieved the pressure. But there is your lead battle. Sainz with Marchenko right with him. Gap back to Zol Amberg in the Dayglow red and white car. Then Ollie Roland on his own red, white and blue. Then the black and gold Lotus JPS colours of Marlon Stockinger with Roberto Meri. Other big winners and losers, not too many. Well, Mary's a loser. It all got a bit clustered there, didn't it, between Roland, Meri and Amberg. I'd like to see a replay, because I was watching Sainz and Marchenko into turn 1, as we all probably were. And as they filter down the back straight now, Nato under pressure, that's Mavlanov. And Jafar trying to get by Pierre Gasly in the other Red Bull car. Gasly didn't make a good start, dropped a couple of spots. So did Max Xavier. Yeah, Gasly was very, very good on the first lap at Monza in both races, in fact. And here he is under pressure from Jafar. Gasly on the inside, Jafar to the outside. He won't make that stick, but doesn't quite have the overlap. At least Gasly didn't try and run him into the pit wall. Jafar in that horrible accident with Sorensen. And who's come in for a new nose? Nearly took his mechanic with him, Matthias Lane. Yeah, the Straka cars in the wars
now, Will
this
Buller
weekend.
has not completed a lap yet.
Well, we saw him off, didn't we, on the exit of
he
turn
has
2.
now. So he's just come. In fact, I think he's just come into the pits as well, Will Buller.
Yeah, he's in the pits. It says on the timing screen. We can't see it visually, but I can assure you he is in the pits, the Northern Irishman, and that's cruel luck. Ooh,
now then. Well, there we do see him now. Looking at the left rear corner, there's no tyre left on that. Look at a whacking great hole in it. So did somebody puncture that with a wing, I wonder? And was that somebody just in to change their wing? Where were Matthias Lane and Will Buller on the grid? Matthias Lane was a row behind Will Buller, came in with a damaged front wing, Buller with a puncture. I'm not saying, but, you know, the odds are. Look at the way that Sainz with the yellow nose is pulling away from Marchenko. Then Zol Amberg and Ollie Roland. I wonder how they are using their tyre, whether Ollie Roland was just a little low on tyre pressure on the first lap, or whether he didn't have the feeling from it and is now starting to come a little bit better for him. Will Buller is out, I'm afraid. Now then, is that Matthias Lane? Going very slowly. No, it's not.
Ollie Webb, by the looks of things,
yeah, it might well be.
It is Ollie Webb in the second Pons car.
It is.
Ollie Webb having a tough weekend. He lost a friend of his on the run-up to the weekend, and he's got a memo to that on his nose box, and he asked us to mention that. It's been a tough weekend for the Brit, and it's not got any better there.
So he is out, and Will Buller is out. 2 retirements so far, both British drivers. Carlos Sainz pulling away fast from Nikolai Marchenko. Marchenko in the white and blue. Dayglow red and white, Zol Amberg. And Ollie Roland behind, red, white and blue. Well, let's take a look at the start. You watch the leaders, I'm watching Will Buller, who's moved over to the extreme left of your picture. And he's just about to come into our shot from behind.
So Roland and Merry actually outbraked themselves on the inside. They actually had quite a good line into turn 1, but outbraked themselves. We're on board with Will Stevens, way down in 15th.
Pierre Gasly should be not too far in front of us, and he basically stops dead in the first turn on the outside line. And that's why. That was Will Stevens' teammate easing somebody off, and there's Will Buller on the outside, so we didn't see what happened to him from Will.
Yeah, it's difficult to see what happened to Will Buller there. He's definitely had contact.
Yeah. No, trying to see it, and he goes so far around the outside. On board with Stockinger. Now there's Gasly in front of us. Why does he check? Oh, because there's a big slide right in front of him.
Well,
and that was Mary. That was
Roland.
Roberto Mary. That's why he lost so much ground. He got onto the dirt, and behind him, Gasly almost ran into the back.
Well, Roland started it, outbraked himself. Mary and Gasly all cruising on wide there. Look, they just didn't quite get it in check.
Track limits, everybody. Track limits. Mind you, better to avoid the accident. Actually, one of the things that I did notice was the few spots of water on the camera lens right at the very start as well. No signs so far of those again. It was on the onboard camera, so it might just have been from somebody's catch tank. But it did have sort of the hallmarks of just a little spit of rain, and that's what you really want as a driver when you're going to the grid on slicks, is to be sitting there waiting for the lights to change and a few little drops of rain on the visor. Go, oh no, don't do that.
Well, we saw it at the start of the Euro Cup race earlier on. It actually really did look as though it was going to rain. All the cars were on slicks. It sort of spitted for about 5 or 10 minutes, never really turned into proper rain, so to speak. And it's what we're seeing here in the World Series by Renault race. Carlos Sainz Jr. checking out at the front of the field now. 2 seconds the gap between himself and Nikolai Martsenko in second place. Worth pointing out, 350 seconds worth of DRS for each car in this race. So use that how you may. I don't think Carlos Sainz Jr. is using too much of it at the moment with the pace that he's got, but Martsenko, Amberg, Roland,